Men don't fail loudly, they fade quietly, not because they are not strong, not because they lack potential, but because they slowly convince themselves they don't need anyone. Have you noticed that men don't talk about their struggles until everything starts falling apart? They will carry the stress alone, fight temptation alone, battle confusion alone, and then wonder why they are exhausted. The strange thing is that isolation often looks like strength. A man says, I am fine. A man says, I will figure it out. A man says, I don't need help. But sometimes that is not strength talking. Sometimes it is pride wearing the mask of strength. The Bible points this out much earlier than most people realize. In Genesis, after creating the world and calling everything good, God looked at Adam and said something remarkable. It is not good for the man to be alone. Think about that. Adam had a perfect environment. He had purpose. He had a direct fellowship with God. Yet God still said something was missing. Why? Because men were never designed to carry life alone. And we see the consequences of isolation again in the story of Elijah. This was a man who had just called down fire from heaven, a man operating in power, a man walking in purpose. But after receiving a threat from Jezebel, he ran into isolation. And once he was alone, his perspective changed. Suddenly, he believed he was the only faithful person left. Suddenly, he wanted to give up. The victory was real, but isolation distorted his view of reality. That is what isolation does. It shrinks your world until your fears becomes facts and your exhaustion becomes your identity. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Many men today are suffering from isolation while calling it independence. They are withdrawn from friendships, withdrawn from accountability, withdrawn from community. Not because they are strong, but because somewhere along the line, they learned that needing people is weakness. But that is not biblical masculinity. In fact, Jesus himself did not do life alone. Before beginning his public ministry, he built a community first. He walked with 12 men, shared meals with them, traveled with them, trusted them with his burdens. Even in Gethsemane, he asked others to stay with him. If Jesus understood the importance of community, why do so many men think isolation is a badge of honor? The enemy understands something many men forget. A man alone is easier to attack. Just like predators separate an animal from the herd, isolation removes protection, support, and perspective. Then the lies begin. Nobody understands you. Nobody cares. Keep it to yourself. Handle it alone. But God never designed man to live that way. And then there is even a deeper form of isolation. Isolation from God himself. Many men don't walk away from God dramatically. They drift through busyness, through distraction, through self-reliance, and then wonder why purpose feels unclear and the emptiness won't leave. The community you're looking for begins with God. Because when a man reconnects with God, he begins to reconnect with people he was meant to walk with. So here is the audit question. Who are you carrying life with? And if your answer is nobody, how much longer do you think you can carry that weight alone? Remember this, the enemy looks for isolated men. God builds connected ones. You were never meant to carry this alone. My name is Ike Ojibe, and this is my unsolicited advice.